need to ask him about another person that puts out information that I get from, and I hope he can tell me, and I don't want to stir up any trouble, but her name is Kimberly Goodwin. What do you know about her, Gene?
Gene, sorry, Bruce, I'm laughing because I find an intel, Gene, but we could talk this offline. So I'll let you go, Gene.
So on that, the one thing I will say is for the Cabal not to control someone who would be stating they're in charge of all financial structure on Earth is nearly, the Cabal is not toothless. Yeah, they've lost a lot. But for them not to take advantage of that is near zero.
Bruce, my apology, but we want to have...
Okay, good.
Yeah, so hey, Bruce, by the way, Jane, can I add something, please?
Of course.
All right, so Bruce, regarding the first lady that you mentioned, I'm going to give a shout out to Benjamin, Fulford, Jessica, Marocco, Peter, who talk about this. I did a metaphysical investigation on April 25th on that individual. All right. So by the answer of Gene, it tells you what it is. So I affirm what Gene's has told you. All right. With the few words, and check or study Black Rock and Shadow Group. So
okay.
You're going to find your own truth regarding her. All right.
Okay. I'm already awake, and a lot of us are, and I just needed a little guidance from Professor Gene here and everything. So I appreciate it, Taino and Gene. You guys take care, and let you go to the next one, Taino.
Thank you, Bruce. You're welcome.
Yeah.
I do have a question. From an individual that's in Malaysia. All right. He did, and it's Alan. So Alan is listening to a lot of your decodes. So I'm going to do the honor of reading his question, since over there it's probably 5 a.m. So okay, is it true? So this is from Alan, Malaysia. Is it true that we're living in a matrix slave ship and that everything is a holographic simulation? Thank you, Gene.
Pretty much close, yes. So really simple, just like in the movie Matrix, Neo learned to control the Matrix. We can do the exact same thing. We can learn to control our thoughts, our feeling, and our emotion. And thereby doing, we can make this a totally different world, a totally different solar system, a totally different universe. Of course, you're part of a group consensus. So the more people that join together, prayer circles, envisioning circle, like Julie Brown, that will make a big, huge difference. The more, it's like the psychic Edgar Cayce said during World War II. He said if he could get only a few hundred people together and do that, it would have ended World War II. In Washington, D.C. in the summer, they got a small group of people to envision peace and calm, and they told the Washington D.C. police force that they expected for a fairly substantial decrease in the big crimes like murder, etc. And they said the only way that would happen in D.C. in the middle of the summer is if it snowed 2 feet. By the end of the month, the police force was joining them because there was more percentage drop than they had actually said. It got massive across the board on all crime, and not just the big ones. And so just that envisioning can make a huge difference. Get together with friends, even, it actually grows as the square of the number of people. So 1 person is powerful, 2 is not 2 times as powerful, 4 times as powerful. It's the square. 3 people, 9 times as powerful. 4 people, 16. So imagine the power. That's why when you do Tai Chi, if you're doing it alone. I often just free flow. But you have forms because if you do it together, it creates a massive energy that combines as the square of the number of people doing it. The same is true for envisioning. So the more people you can get to focus, the more powerful it is. That's why they did these big events like 911, because they get it, and then throw it all over the world in media, because they're getting millions of people to focus, and that creates the timeline.
Go there and you're not probably aware, or you're not sensitive, all right, to other layers of reality. You go by it every day. So Gene, probably we could take a minute so you could share to the audience either your experiences or intel decode that you have with the specific topics. All right. So you may go ahead, Gene.
Now, primarily when you have ultra dimension, you're talking the dark space program or the secret space program. By dark, I mean black budgets, where the budget is huge, but that it's not accountable to anybody. It's all originally deep state. Now the alliance is part of this. So the TR units, TR3s, TR4s, 5s, etc., have this type of technology where on the inside it can be massively larger than on the outside. And it's part of the entire system for the TR units to do what they do. They have a device the size of a basketball that develops 1 terawatt free energy, 0-point energy from the vacuum density of power. And so to give you an example, recently David Wilcock talked about this on video. He showed a massive nuclear power plant with 3 huge nuclear power system. And that developed a little over 800 gigawatts. A trillion is 200 more than 800. And that's powering an entire city. So a trillion watt is needed to power these systems that do this kind of thing. And so that's something that Tesla had actually developed. So a lot of these, like under Building 64, you have a dome. And in that dome, they can be doing these type of experiments that create these altered effects. They can actually project them into the buildings above if they would like. And so you can have altered dimensions very easily. And, I've recently been one of the Blessed for Service coordinators. Someone that they're close to sent me a video on multiple dimension. When you get in, it's fascinating. When you take a sphere that touches each side of a cube, so it's completely perfectly enclosed within a cube. As you bring up the dimensionality to infinity, the cube's volume goes to infinity. That's creation. The sphere's volume goes to 0, which is a singularity. And Nassim Harame's equation says there's the same singularity, a singularity in the side of the center of every proton, planet, star, person, etc. That is literally the throne of God, which means God is everywhere, no volume, singularity everywhere in all of creation. And so through that, that creates, as you go up the scaling, and Nassim has the scaling law, at the quantum level, you have an amount of energy that's equal at the Planck distance, at the quantum Planck distance level, that's equal to all the mass and energy in the entire universe. That's an immense amount of power. So these free energy device taps into that. And you can alter dimensions, you can change things, you can create portals, Stargate, all kinds of varied effects. That's one thing that can also be going on. A lot of paranormal houses and things, what you're seeing could be, altered portals. It can be buried on a burial ground where satanic sacrifices and things have been done that are creating a dimensional warping.
I'm going to find the picture. So this is actually from a movie that's called In the Shadow from the Cold. So you're seeing it here on the screen. So I'm just going to get a picture here, all right, to allow you to see it. All right. So basically what it is, you have this police enforcer. So based on this perspective, they think that the lady here is actually assassinated people. But really what she's doing, she's the granddaughter of the police enforcement who goes back in time in order every 9 years in order to eliminate the people who are part and orchestrating, let's say in the 2030s, a massive attacks. So technically, she's coming back in time to always, all right, sort of erase the important individuals. But while her grandfather was in the police, thinks she's directly, assassinated people just because it's a serial killer. But on and on, he found out that, wow, that's her granddaughter from the future. So, Gene, thank you, because I will not disclose it now, but this is related to a personal experience, all right, mission to time travel. So, Gene, before you go, so if whoever's into video games, you played a game that's called Quantum Break, you're going to hear about monarchs and their crazy, crazy time travel experiment. So without being said, Gene, can you please share to the people your knowledge and intel on missions to do time travel?
Yeah, I'm actually going to be, when I get Gene Decode up, which we're starting that project very soon. The Blessed for Service website is very close to being relaunched. We're a day or two out. Then once that's done, the second part will be phase 2 will be to get the Blessed for Service website so people can ask questions there. The contact us is just for website issues. There'll be questions to the Blessed for Service team, so everything can go through there. You don't have to go through email anymore. And it's simultaneously the company helping us, which is very phenomenal that we finally found, is also going to build the Gene Decode website. And I'm going on the back channel to do a time travel decode, because on Nicholas Vignamin, he shared what he called the flip of Baron von Trump, John G. Trump, and Donald's time travel in combination with a gentleman known as John Titor, who's part of the time police, so to speak. There's been quite a few movies with that. I think Van Damme did one. What is to stop the Cabal from doing what they were trying to do. And so, that's what this was showing you, or just showing as part of that group. For example, another decode that'll be done on the back channel by some of the coordinator of Blessed for Service are doing a massive, amazing, beautiful decode on Bucegi in Romania. And there's a person in there who it allows you to project back in time, conscious only, and saw Christ. And at one point in that part of that decode will be the Jesus years. And when he showed up, Christ, just his consciousness, said, "I've been waiting for you. I have very important information for the Great Awakening." So later on, he saw an assassin group from the Cabal trying to kill Christ. And Christ said, "I knew you were coming." So they weren't able to do that. And so there's actually now, because of that kind of intervention, of them trying to get rid of the crucifixion and all of this different stuff, they created in John Titor getting that device he got, IBM old kind of computer thing, actually allowed to get all of this in place, to have time travel police so that the Cabal can't continue to interfere with the technology they gained through the Philadelphia experiment from non-terrestrial sources, that then they created the Montauk Project. And you can read about that, Peter Moon and Preston Nichols' book, the Montauk series. And so that is an ongoing thing because the Cabal has been manipulating. And so now that's no longer possible due to this group. I can't give the name of the group, but this group does monitor and stop certain things from occurring that have been meddled with from the deep state. They stopped the meddling now. And that's why she's allowed to do what she's doing, because what she's doing is undoing meddling that the deep state did. And part of CERN was to create a merge-in of this timeline and many others to make it more and more and more high-powered for the New World Order line, like they did with Tartaria, where they ended Tartaria and truncated it into our timeline. And so they're stopping that. The Alliance took over CERN in 2018 and shut it down for a while, so that can't be done anymore. And they removed it. And then before that, the reason they couldn't do it, there were Alliance White Hat in CERN that sabotaged CERN, so that could not happen. Otherwise, we would have been in a world of hurt. So there's a lot of people who have given their lives. We need, and given the greatest for the Great Awakening, we need to give praise and prayer for them and gratitude for their prayer for their family and gratitude for them for allowing all of us to be here for the Great Awakening.